Well. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm Richmond Webb, and my co-host is Robert Wilson. I think I got the names flipped, but that's okay. Okay, he flipped it around. That's cool. So, how y'all doing today? Glad to be back. Another episode of Gig 'em Guys with Miami Ties. And Robert, how you doing today?
Doing great, man. It's the third episode. Happy to still be online and talk about life, football, and all things in between. You see, I got on my Dallas Cowboys shirt.
Dolphin fans ain't gonna be too happy about that, bro. You starting something over there. I'm just saying.
The backstory to that is my brother-in-law Kevin Smith came to town, and he left it. So another man's trash is another man's trash.
You tell Puff thank you for me. Yeah, that's our Aggie brother Kevin Smith, number 26, three-time Super Bowl champ with the Dallas Cowboys, and we all went to Texas A&M together. So I think they might give you a pass for that. But let's just get into it. We'll talk about the Texas A&M win this past Saturday against University of New Mexico, and seen a lot of good things. Talk about the highlights. Calzada came out. It's amazing, and I think this is one of the things that people don't know is his performance this week was much better than it was last week to me. I mean, it was tougher for him, and what I mean by that is when you're the backup in at any position, you get very minimal reps in practice or whatever. Your reps are minimal. You have to know your assignments, this and that. But it definitely helps to get those reps in practice to go through your progression, especially as a quarterback. And you definitely could see. I think that was huge. He played, I thought, extremely well. And what I love about it is, man, Coach Jimbo Fisher. He coaches those quarterbacks. He coaches them tough, and he did some things, but he did some things that Coach Fisher didn't like, and he was over there on the sideline, going back and forth with him. But he took it, and Coach Fisher's a tough coach, but I think that, and we saw this with Kellen Mond, is you see the development, but I think the guys know that he genuinely cares for them. His expectations is extremely high, but in order for you to achieve that, you need a coach like Coach Fisher to push you this and that. So that was one of the things that stood out to me. Also, the wide receivers, saw a couple of new faces on Saturday, Demas and Muhammad. And, he went deep early in the game to Demas, and that was a kid that was highly recruited out of the Houston area, Robert. And big receiver, looked like he's 6'3", 6'4", high jumper. So, he can jump out the gym. And to get those guys experience in games like this, I think Chapman was hurt, but it gives some of the younger guys an opportunity to get in there and get some experience. And I think it was no better time because we're starting SEC play, but we'll get into that. But what were some of the things and the highlights that that I don't want to just keep talking, and I'll jump back in and mention a couple more, and we'll just go back and forth.
Well, I'm gonna keep it simple, like Coach did. He said, and maybe he's loading them up for this week and the coming weeks, but he said he was not impressed with the physicality of the team as a whole. So that's going to be something moving forward that they're going to need, and they're going to have to, it's time to play big boy ball now.
Yeah. One of the things I definitely know that we got to get Spiller time going. That young man, anytime they get the running game going with him, it's a different Aggie football team, and that's when you come downhill. But I know we had some injuries in the offensive line this past week, and a couple of guys shuffled around. And I think that was the biggest thing that really caused some issues is they had some issues picking up stunts and stuff like that. But I know Leighton Robertson is back this week, and Green will kick back out to the right tackle. So I think that'll definitely be beneficial coming up this week. But getting Spiller going is huge. He takes pressure off Calzada of the whole offense. And then with the changeup with A-Chain, it's just a totally different style running back. But if that guy hits and gets in the secondary, it's a foot race to the end zone. And I'm betting on him most of the time. So definitely getting those guys back from injury, this and that. Hopefully we get Chapman back this week. He's an integral part of the passing offense, this and that. And that'll be huge. It's another weapon for Calzada. And I really like the way he spreaded the ball around. I mentioned Demas, I mentioned Muhammad, but Chase Lane, Anai Smith, he just really spreaded the football around. And the other thing, even with Anai Smith, I think he had one he took back, but it was called back because of penalty. So when you got a player that's dynamic in the kicking game, you definitely want to keep him going and not make the mistakes to take points off the board. Because I thought we really could have probably left 21 points out on the field this past Saturday against University of New Mexico. But that's the thing I love about Coach Fisher. Like you said, you got to be more physical. If you watched Arkansas, I didn't watch it this past week, but I saw a little bit of their game where they played the University of Texas 2 weeks ago, and on both sides of the ball, they were dominant, and they just imposed their will on Texas and hit them in the mouth, and it was from start to finish. And I think that's what we got, the expectation. We've got, we've been playing Arkansas since we were back in the Southwest Conference back in the day, and then they went to the SEC. But then it's been over 10 years now. I think we meet in Dallas at a neutral site at the Cowboy Stadium.
Yeah.
And it's a great rivalry, and I think it's good for both schools, this and that. But we want to be 3-0, and this is SEC play, and this is actually in the West. So this game kind of counts a 2-for-1, and you want to start out on the right foot. So if we can be much more physical, that will be definitely beneficial, because I think we got Arkansas. Then the next week we got, I want to say, Mississippi State, and then
yeah. Well, the physical part of it, man. I looked at, if you watch that Alabama and Florida game,
I watched the game.
Offensive line, defensive line wise on both sides of that was war. And that's the kind of effort that our lines, both sides, Mr. Terry Price, we're gonna need that action from both sides of the ball, man. And with the Leighton Robinson coming back, joining the offensive line from his injury, I think be great. Speaking of Leighton Robinson and the Maroon Goons, man, I was fortunate enough to hook up with the good people at Good Bull Barbecue, and they're gonna feed the Maroon Goons on Tuesdays on their off day. And
that's awesome.
So if you're in the BCS area, go check out the Maroon Goons at Good Bull Barbecue.
Yeah, and BCS, for those who don't know, that's Bryan College Station, Texas. Texas A&M is located in College Station, but those two towns are right next to each other. So that's why I always say BCS, Bryan College Station, or whatever. But Good Bull Barbecue. Matter of fact, when I go down there, maybe I have to check them out, because I'm sure that's some good barbecue. I love eating barbecue. So, I'll pay for it, but yeah, just to support them, and to hear that, most of the time, an endorsement for the offensive line, that's awesome, because we're not the guys that get the attention unless it's a penalty or we jump offside, something like that. So for someone to step up and offer the big guys something like that, the Maroon Goons, that's awesome. So I love hearing that. But defensively, I thought we played pretty well. Like you said, I think it was a shutout, but definitely some things we need to clean up. But defensively, it seemed like they're hitting in stride. When I watch our defense, what I like about them is they play with swagger, they play with confidence, and I think if they play consistently like what Coach Fisher is asking them to do, we got one of the best defenses in the country. And I think that's what it's going to take to be competitive, to have an opportunity or even a chance to try to make it to college playoff because that is tough. It's a lot of good teams, like you said. I watched that Alabama-Florida game, and that game went down to the wire. I think they had Florida ranked at number 10, but they played much better than that, considering they playing the number 1 team in the country, University of Alabama. So that was a huge game, and it was a huge win for Bama, to go on the road and, play the number 10 team, knowing in a hostile environment, and come out with that W. I mean, that's what you expect from a championship team. I mean, and they stepped up to the challenge.
And that's what we talked about with A&M going to Colorado. Colorado is not the swamp, but it's the same mindset that they have to have.
Yeah, no doubt. Anytime you go on the road and you're one of the top ranked teams in the country, and you're playing a team that's either ranked lower than you or not ranked at all, that's a notch in their belt if they can knock you off this and that. So, and especially with Haynes King getting hurt and Calzada had to come in a couple weeks ago, it seemed like the makings of an upset. You're on ESPN, you probably turned down the goalpost, but we were able to persevere and come out with a W. And I think that was huge for those guys. And I think they know coming in this week, we got Arkansas. So I don't think they need a rah-rah speech or whatever. I'm sure Coach Fisher's going to have those guys prepared. Looking at Arkansas, they're 3-0. We're 3-0. It's going to be in Dallas, neutral site. Aggies always show up. So I know when they have the ball, it's going to be extremely loud in there. And like you said, we just got to be ready to match their will when we play them this Saturday. I think the game is at 2:30 Central. Might be on CBS. I forgot to check, but I know it's 2:30, so I'll definitely check that. But what do you think as far as going against Arkansas? What do you think are some of the keys to the game that we probably need to focus on? I was going to ask you that.
Well, I'm glad that they got Demas in the end zone on a long touchdown pass, because they need to put everybody in the SEC on notice that when this guy's on the field, it could be one play and done. Yeah. So getting him on film catching a long touchdown is going to go a long way towards giving the other opposing teams a look as far as going deep down the field. And I think that's what we need to do this week. I think we need to take shots. And from our offense, with the shotgun, or maybe we need to go with the running back behind the guy, but we don't have a real play action game. And with the tight ends that we have, I mean, man, it could be awesome.
Yeah, and I agree with you totally. Definitely, when you get a guy like Dean with somebody that can stretch the field, or you go deep, the way our offense has been designed is we're sometimes so run heavy that a lot of people want to stack the box and try to force us to throw the football. But when you get a guy like Demas that, even if he doesn't necessarily complete it every time, but somebody to stretch the field, it helps keep the defense honest, where they can't load up with like 8 or 9 in the box to try to stop Spiller and stuff like that. And it also opens up the underneath routes for Wiedemeyer, even Spiller, A-Chain coming out the backfield. I see we did a little bit more of that, dumping off to the running back, doing this and that. So the underneath routes, all that helps when you got a guy that can stretch the field, and definitely need to be concerned with a guy like Demas because of his, jumping ability. It's not only he's a tall receiver, but if he catches it at the high point, I don't think there's too many guys that can jump him. So
and he can run too.
And he can run. Yeah, that was evident on Sunday. So yeah, defensive back, misreads the coverage like he did, and he comes wide open between the corner and the safety. You can count some Christmas on that one. I think that's going to be 6 points. But I think that, and then also I think that one of the things Calzada has continued to improve, and I think he will each week. The more you play, last week was his first start. He did good, but this week he get another week, and he's going to get more and more comfortable, and then we just keep going until Haynes King, because I think he has a fractured um, leg or whatever, so that gives him time to heal. And it was a great thing. I was watching the game that even though he was hurt, he was still help coaching the guys up, talking to them, seeing what he was seeing out there, this and that. And that's the ultimate teammate, because the main thing you want to do is you want to win the football game. So when everybody chips in and trying to help, and it's not about, oh, I'm not out there or pouting or anything, you didn't see that. You seen guys united as a front, doing things to help, get that W. So that's always a plus. And then defensively, I think we just continue to do what we're doing, but do it at, like you said, even a more effective level. 3 and out. You can shut them down. Stop the running. If we shut the run down like they started to do against New Mexico, and even in Colorado in the second half, it forces them to throw the football. And I think we got a great secondary, safeties, linebackers, stuff like guys that are really fast. We got some big corners, stuff like that. It just plays into our hands. So defense, just keep doing what you're doing, and that's going to give us a chance to win. But I'm expecting more out the offense. I'm expecting to play more physical. If Coach Fisher is saying it during the media and stuff like that, those guys are hearing it. They're hearing it during the week, so they should come out ready to play in Dallas this week.
It's gonna be a regular Tuesday. I mean, a regular Wednesday at practice. Full pad, strapping it up. And then if they piss him off, he's gonna go goal line 1-on-1.
Oh, I remember.
Go ahead.
I remember those days. Yeah, Coach Sherrill going goal line live and this and that, and man, that was, you brought back some memories right there. But go ahead. What were you about to say?
When you're talking about the QBs, so I have this thing that I do personally when I watch any football game.
Okay.
So I focus I focus on the quarterback that's on the field, and I don't focus on anything that he's doing on the field. I focus on what he does once he gets to the bench. You know what I mean? Is he talking to the linemen? Is he talking to the running backs? Is he talking to one of the coaches and the linemen? And is he talking to everybody like Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Or is it like a Josh Rosen guy that just goes sits there and by himself? You can gauge the pulse of the team or the energy of the team off that alone, man. Because if nobody goes and talks to him, and not even a coach, and he just goes and sits there by himself, that says something about about where the team is, man.
Yeah, that's bad energy, and you're right. Especially when you have a starter and another guy comes in, if he's not confident in his skill set or whatever, it's going to reflect everybody in the huddle is going to be able to read that energy. And if he don't believe, everybody else is going to draw into that. But you're right. You got to conduct yourself as like, hey, everything's going to be all right. You got to take control of that huddle. And then you go out there and make a few plays. And then even if guys didn't believe, they're like, okay, well, we're all right. Everybody settles down. And that takes that doubt or whatever from their mind, and they can go out and execute. And then we just keep the wheels rolling smoothly. So yeah, you're exactly right about that. You definitely don't want that where you just go over there and don't sit and talk to anybody. But Jimbo, Coach Fisher.
It happens in college. It happens in the pros. I mean, if you throw a interception in the big game, you're not expecting people to come and somebody say, hey man, keep it up, keep your head up or whatever. But some of these people, man, some of these guys. What's the quarterback for the Bears a little while ago?
Trubisky?
No, before him, the one that the veteran that they ran out of town.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
But yeah.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
So he was the guy. When he came off the field, nobody talked to him.
Yeah.
No matter what on the field. And that's what I was like, wow. What's
Well,
going on there? You know what I mean?
that's one thing I can say you ain't gonna have to worry about with Coach Fisher, because I mean, before he even got to the sideline, he was waiting on him. Come here, let me talk to you, this and that. And I think he coaches his quarterbacks harder than anybody. But you brought up a great point that I thought about is a lot of times if you make a bad play, like you said, quarterback throws a pick or running back fumbles or offensive lineman gives up a sack, and you go to the sideline, a lot of times you need someone to say, hey, man, shake it off. We're going to be all right. We're going to get it back. I can remember times where we would mess up or whatever, and the defense be like, don't worry about it. We finna go out here and get it back. We all right, baby. Come on, let's go. And you need that to shake, because if not, you can spiral down, and then like one bad play will turn into two, and then the next thing you go in the tank and can't nobody get you out. So every now and then, it's a long night, and you need people to uplift you a lot of time, because nobody wants to mess up or do anything to hurt the team to stop them from continue to move the ball or whatever, especially on offense. So I guess I'll go ahead.
Talking about the defense, I think our defense is at this point is SEC built.
Yes, I agree.
I think they can take on all the challenges that are coming. We're taking on two big, heavy run teams next 2 weeks, Arkansas and Mississippi State. And so those guys are going to have to dig in. I did see, though, in my little research,
okay,
that 2 defensive linemen were suspended here recently.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say any names, but two guys were suspended, and one guy got back on the team, and the other guy is still on punishment or whatever. But that was interesting, especially going into these 2 weeks.
Yeah. And like, that's the thing. You don't want to do anything to detriment the team, but it shows that Coach Fisher's, he's dedicated to winning, but you got to conduct yourself in a way, it doesn't matter who you are. I believe he'll suspend anyone because it's what's expected. You're one of these guys, and the defensive line is one of the strongest areas on our team as far as rotating this and that. So like you say, you suspend 2, at least we get one of them back, and especially against teams that like to run the football, you can rotate your D lineman and keep them fresh. Mm-hmm. But and this sets the example that, hey, if he suspended that guy, then maybe I don't need to mess up, because if he suspended him, he'll definitely suspend me. So it sends a message throughout the team that that's not going to be tolerated. So
you know what they call that rule?
What's that?
No copycats. We need some laws out here in this world called no copycats.
Well, I think tough love is something that we've gotten away from in this world. You got to treat everybody a certain way. I mean, you treat people right, but every now and then you need tough love. That's my opinion. That's nobody else's. That's just the way. I got tough love, and I turn out all right. So I know it works. I do know that. So, but let's get to these Dolphins. Man, it was rough Sunday. It was rough. I'm telling you, it was rough. I was on Twitter, high expectations, this and that, and from the start of the game, it was downhill, and we never really could get anything to get the momentum swung, to kind of get things going. But Dolphins, we played the Bills this past Sunday, and we got beat 35-0, which I did not expect. Even if we didn't win the game, I expected us to, play better than that, or at least put some points up. It was just a bad game. The Bills came in. They had lost, to the Steelers the week before. They were pissed. They were pissed. 0-1, and I know they did not want to go down 0-2 in the AFC East. So I knew they were going to come in ready to play, but I thought it was just a bad game. And the other thing was, playing Tua, he got sacked early a couple times. I mean, really had some issues in the offensive line to where Um, it was not just one guy. It seemed like it was just one guy this play, one guy that play, and he ended up having to lead the game and didn't return. Um,
Well,
so that was
the 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 concerning part about that said you said one guy here, one guy there, but
yeah,
those one guys were always free.
yeah,
When he got hurt, it was a free guy just running off the
free
end
guy,
unblocked. I'm
yeah.
like, what's going on there?
Yeah, and then I think today it was released or reported that he's out for the Raiders game,
Yeah.
and at first it was announced as bruised ribs, but I think it was updated and said he has cracked ribs. So that's an injury that even with bruised ribs, trying to throw the football, this and that is very very painful. So I'm hoping he heals fast. I'm not trying to rush him back on the field, but
Mm.
I hate to see anybody get injured, but
Hey,
we come in with
so do they
Jacoby
go out
Brissett.
to Oakland?
We go to Raiders. Yep, it's in Las Vegas. Yep, and if you
Oh, in
remember
Vegas.
that, it's in Vegas. Yeah,
See, I said Oakland.
they the Las Vegas Raiders. I know we old school. It used to be. At one point, they was the L.A. Raiders. Well, it was Oakland, then they moved to L.A., then they moved back to Oakland, and now they're the Los Angeles Raiders. So, Las Vegas
Las
Raiders. Yeah.
Vegas.
So, yeah. So it's still the silver and black or whatever.
So man, I think this week the defense is going to have to reestablish itself because the Raiders, they have all kind of weapons out there, man. The kid from Alabama.
Yeah.
They got that tight end that looks like a wide receiver.
Waller. Yeah, he runs like a 4-3, 4-4, and he's a matchup problem. He's a big guy. So time they play him at tight end, a lot of time they move him out like he's a receiver. You're correct. So he is definitely
like we talked about Wiedemeyer.
Yeah, we talked about that.
But yeah, so the locker room comments on what happened to us with the Bills is you show me 4 guys that can't get any pressure. I'll show you 4 guys that can't cover anybody. So that's how that works.
Yeah, that is true. No pressure. Yeah.
And it's coming to light this week too with the Raiders because the Raiders are gonna put pressure on the ball, man.
Yeah, and they got a good defensive front, and that's why I said we got to get offensive line. They got to get that corrected. But I remember last year the Raiders game, and Fitzpatrick threw that no-look pass and caught it, and we were able to kick the field goal and win. So, that's one of those games that they felt they probably should have won and lost. And, it was definitely huge for us to come back and win that football game. But it's going to be tough, and I think they're going to be prepared. Like you say, they're 2-0. They kind of hit a rhythm, and especially the thing that's going to be evident in this Sunday's game, and it's always in the NFL. And when you show you can't do anything, or if you have problems with blocking the right guys or this and that, you're going to see it until you correct it. If they don't correct it this week, it's a domino effect. And I give Jacoby Brissett because it didn't stop, but at time he was under duress, but he was getting the ball out. And anytime you got to come in as a backup, it doesn't matter college or pro, you're taking mental reps. So for him not to get that many reps during practice and then come out and throw the ball the way he did, my hat is off to that young man. But we got to get this. We got to get this offensive line issue as far as you can't have breakdowns at different you can't establish a rhythm when it happens like that. So I'm sure that's something that they're working hard in practice this week. It's going to be tougher than it was against the Bills because we're in Las Vegas. That's a dome stadium, I believe, and you got to deal with the crowd noise. So now you got silent count, which makes it even tougher. So just some of the things that that they got to deal with. So trying to think okay, so we kind of went over the keys to the game, but I'll tell you something that was interesting to me. I was actually, normally during the football games on the Dolphin games, I don't do as much the Aggie games, but I was tweeting back and forth, and man, we got some great fans. They interact with you, this and that, and so you tweet, people ask you questions, I try to answer them and this and that. But I did that to about halftime, and I was getting frustrated because we wasn't playing like I knew we could play. So I just tweeted and said, "Hey, I'm signing off. I'm watching the game, but I can't keep tweeting. I need to just focus in on this game because I was already pissed off we wasn't playing like I knew we could play."
Mm-hmm.
But Monday I got back on, and then I started thinking about it and interacting with fans, and I think a lot of people have questions to where I think they want a view from a player's perspective. So I think I called you Monday. Remember, I was talking to you Monday, and I said, "Hey, man," and we had talked about going live before we started this podcast, or whatever. And he was like, "That'd be good to go live and this and that." And I was like, "Well, I don't know. We'll see." And I just kind of thought it was kind of hard. But then after talking to you, and I said, "Man, I think people would really benefit from being able to ask, players that's played the game, what's going on, what happens when you mess up in a game, what happens on the sideline, how does all that interaction go, this and that." So, you kind of agreed and you thought it was a good idea. So on Twitter yesterday, I just, posed out there, "Hey, would you be interested in a Q&A with, me and a former player or something like you, Robert?" And I tagged you in the tweet, and overwhelming response. Majority of it was yes. It was a few no's, this and that, but they're looking forward to it. So we will get it set up, and we'll do it. It'll be next week, but we'll come up with a date and time, and then I'll post it. But I'm really looking forward to it because
oh yeah, we talked about the times that would be good.
Yeah, we talked about it, and that's what I said. Once we've solidified time and all that, we'll do it, and I'll post it and send the links and stuff where people can log on and genuinely ask questions and interact. And I think this might be something that's not only just this week, but maybe other weeks. And they even mentioned, bringing on a guy like Keith Sims, or maybe we'll add some other former players that we played with that I'm sure be happy to chime in, just to get different viewpoints. And the thing, I take away from this is I just want to interact with you. I'm not saying I know all the answers, and I'll never tell anybody that, or you know all the answers, but let's be able to agree to disagree. Even if you don't agree with me, that's cool. I have no problem with that. I think it's important to be able to communicate and have dialogue and this and that.
I think you said agree or disagree, but I think we'll be explaining more of the why.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And meeting in the middle, kind of like, kind of like, so like when we were at Buffalo one year, third down, we missed it. We missed the play. Dan was being Dan coming off the field, but I knew we had the fake punt on, right? So I ran up to Dan. I said, "Dan, go get with G. We got the fake on." So he got laser focused, found G, started talking it over, and we ran the fake punt, went down and scored.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was him, because he was probably pissed off he didn't get the first down. Yeah. You know how Dan was. He was like, man, Dan wanted to destroy you. I mean, I think that's, people see him smile. He's a good-looking guy, this and that. And you can see at times they would show him on TV that, I always say it was the Italian blood. That's just not racist. That's just the way I describe it. But man, he was the ultimate competitor, and he would get pissed off, and you could see it in his eyes. And, okay, whatever he called, let's get it done. Let him, and he would go to work, and he get licking them fingers and calling it out and walking. Next thing, get up to the line, and we'd zoom down, and then people would say, "Man, why y'all can't do that all the time?" I was like,
and that's the question. That's the question that I have for you, man. At this point, is how many yards would Dan have thrown for in this era? Where they're protecting the quarterbacks, they're protecting the receivers,
it's a
everybody on
different league
offense is
now.
protected. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's a different
So
league now. Yeah,
yeah, but
it's
I'm saying if Dan would have played in this era, man, he would be up over. He would get 100,000. I'm thinking, or
yeah.
50,000, 60,000, 70,000 yards, man. Because
I think he finished with 60. So yeah. You could add 30 or 40 to that easy because
it,
he was. Yeah, he might be dehydrated from licking his fingers so much, but other than that, yeah, we'd have to give him an IV after the game. But yeah, man, he was a beast. He's just, I mean, you see it on TV, but to actually be in huddles, I mean, the first time I think we did the 2 minute, I was a young guy. And we went like 80 yards in less than a minute or something. I was like, man, what just happened? We didn't put up 6 points that quick.
right, right, yeah.
And
And
you
then
get,
so some of those teams, we always had, Gary Stevenson was for some reason was his coordinator for 17 years.
yeah,
I don't know why that never changed, but you think about the weapons. We talked about the weapons Monday. Keith
yeah,
Jackson, Keith
yeah.
Byers,
OJ,
OJ,
Aaron Fryer, the
Fry,
Clayton,
the juice.
Jim Jensen crash. It was just
Jim
like, man,
Jensen, Fred,
Troy Stratford, man.
uh,
It didn't matter. He made everybody better, and it was just
Nat Moore.
yeah. Nat was for us. Nat started it off. Nat
Yeah.
raised Duper and Clayton. He helped them
Duke
out.
and
So
Clayton,
yeah,
man.
it was just yeah. So
Because
yeah,
those
so
guys, everybody that flourished with Dan was a good route runner. If you're a good route runner with Dan,
yeah,
and he knows you're going to run a route, that
yeah.
ball, when you turn around, the ball is within 3 feet. All you got to do is locate and catch it. You know
And
what I mean?
I think that was something, and I think it was Keith Jackson. I think he had did OJ's diving in the tank with OJ McDuffie and Seth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was him. I was listening to it, and he said he had to get used to it. He would come out his break, and when he turned his head, he had to get his hands up because the ball was already there before he came out his break, and that's
And as opposed to a quarterback that waits till you get open to throw the ball, that you get in trouble that way. You get in trouble like that. He just anticipated it so well, man. It was a natural thing,
It was just natural, just like you said. And I can remember playing with later on, even with OJ. OJ, we called him Mr. Third Down because you knew he was gonna probably hit OJ, but you couldn't stop it. And then I used to love when OJ catch the ball and then he was spinning and that sucker was stand up in a spiral and that would just give me OJ was a tough receiver. He was almost like
he was a tough, but he ran those routes, man.
He was precise and he ran those routes, but he was like a little undersized offensive lineman that was in shape. That's why I tell him all the time.
His mentality.
Yeah, he was one of the toughest guys. And
I still remember the play. 63 deep in. OJ was line up in the slot.
Yep.
Take off like he's going to the flats.
Yep.
Hit the seam.
Yep.
Ball right there. Bang. Gone.
Gone. Got it.
And then, OJ was one of the best during that time at rack, run after the catch.
Yeah. Well, he did punt. Well, he did the punt returns and stuff, but he was OJ was.
You know how many personal fouls he got away with when he was our punt returner?
There wasn't no personal foul. What you talking about, bro?
Wait.
Yeah, OJ ain't do no foul.
OJ would let those guys run down and try to down the ball. As soon as they look up to find the ball, he would take them out.
He gonna peel your potato. Yeah, he gotta peel your potato. Yeah, that's it.
He had a certain level of toughness about him that wasn't really matched, by other receivers.
For a receiver, you just normally don't find receiver. I'm not saying you don't, but he just had a different mentality. It was just So so I'm definitely looking forward to that. That should be fun. So we'll put our heads together, and I'll post that. You got any closing remarks before we shut it down?
No, man, I would just say keep your friends and family, friends and family prayed up, man, and do what it takes to get through this pandemic and spread love.
Spread love. Okay. Well, definitely we appreciate y'all listening to us again. And the only thing, and I think everybody says this, but we appreciate if you would like, share, and subscribe to this. And I'm really looking forward to getting this together where we can do this live. At first, I was a little not sure of it or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's definitely something that's needed. And I think the way what we're focusing on, we don't really step on anybody else's toes, because a lot of do the analytical part, the breakdown, this and that. We're just talking about it from a player's perspective, and I think that's something a void that we can fill to educate them that way. So it should be a win-win, and I'm definitely looking forward. So again, go ahead.
Not to interrupt you, but I did want to welcome Chris Carter back, man.
I saw him on was it ESPN?
I think he's back on. It might be one of the Fox stations.
I did see Chris Carter. Yeah, he's very good, very intelligent, and it was good to see him, because I didn't know that. I just turned it on. I said, okay, you got CC back up there.
Yeah. So he's very good guy, man.
Yeah. Well, like, share, and subscribe, and I will be posting on Twitter once we get the date and everything situated. It will be next week. We'll get it set up, and I'm looking forward to your whatever questions you got. Write them down, this and that. There are no dumb questions. We're gonna show you love. Y'all show us love, and we look forward to it. So thanks for tuning in again, and we'll see you
Richmond, what's your
next
Twitter?
week. My Twitter is @RichmondWebb, and Robert, give him your Twitter handle. I know it's Robert Wilson, but I can't remember all the numbers.
Oh man, mine is just @Robert Wilson. They have the it's just @Robert Wilson.
Okay, I might be tweeting the wrong person then.
No, I got you. But
okay, it's some numbers behind it though. I'll get it. I'll post. I'll keep tagging you, and I'll write it down so we can. And then Starcade Media. Also follow us. That's how you'll keep up with us. So thanks again. Go ahead. I don't have Instagram. I got set up Instagram on Facebook. Richard Webb. Instagram.
You're ahead on me. You're ahead of me on Twitter. I'm ahead on you on Instagram. So my
Instagram
@Politics and Sports.
@Politics and Sports. Okay, I got to come up with a Twitter handle. We'll post all that, and maybe we'll start putting a link.
I'll invite you to Instagram. That's what I'll do.
That sounds like a plan. All right, we're gonna sign off. Everyone, thanks for listening to us again. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll be live next week. So come with your Q&As. We'll be looking forward to it. All right, thank you.